start with a dynamic warm-up, about 3 minutes. So I'm gonna get the timer set up here, and we're gonna move for about 3 to 4 minutes or so. All right, so when you're ready, I have a couple options for you. You can come into a light boxer shuffle, staying nice and light on your toes, the balls of your feet. You can simulate jump rope. You can jog on the spot. If you're not into jumping here, you can just kind of move your body. So it's freestyle, meaning there's no right or wrong way to do it. If anything, just allow the movement to feel intuitive. So the reason why I like to start with a dynamic warm-up is so that we're gradually warming up the nervous system, so we're not shocking the nervous system right away when we come into our strength, endurance, and our cardio. At any point, feel free to change it up. If you have space, move around your space. Go for a little light jog. I also love jumping, bouncing, light jumping, bouncing, because it really gets rid of stress from the body, especially this time with everything that's going on. It's really nice to just like let go and shake out the stress, the tension, the uncertainty, the anxiety. The list goes on. Shake out your wrists. Getting the blood to flow. Great for circulation, lymphatic system. So this is a brand new, unreleased Yoga Strong class. I think this is the 9th class that I will have online. And I'm always creating new sequences with this. This is the beauty of this kind of class. It's very fun and creative. See if you can maintain natural breath in and out of your nose as you build up that endurance, or just breathe however you want to breathe. So in this class, there are 2 different cardio intervals. So there's our timer. 2 different cardio intervals, and you go at your own pace with those, and I will have options, but in total the cardio is about 8 minutes. Okay, so let's have our stuff. Let's grab our stuff here. Again, it might not be perfect or pretty. You're gonna have to grab it, put it back down, and then I'm gonna grab a set of 10s here. So whatever you have, you're gonna grab your weights. We're gonna come to the top of the mat. Feet are about hips distance apart here. And just let the weights pull your shoulders down away from the ears. And just take a moment to pause. Maybe close your eyes. And just notice the subtlety of the weights pulling your shoulders down, stretching through the sides of your neck. Maybe where you've been carrying a lot of tension and stress the last few days. And then we're going to root down through the feet. You're going to press into the balls of your feet, lift your heels. See if you can pause at the top and squeeze your glutes. And then lower the heels with control. And we're going to keep doing that and just go at your own pace. Lifting through the heels, squeeze your glutes, lower the heels back down. So starting to activate the whole back side, the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, a little bit of ankle stability. Nice and slow, controlled. But keep noticing the stretch in the sides of your neck as we start to warm up the lower half. And we'll do 2 more here. And then 1 more here. And then let's release the heels. Keep your weights in your hands. You're going to start by tucking the chin in towards the chest, round the neck, round the spine, and let the weights pull you to the floor one piece at a time. So we're coming into some loaded flexion for the spine. Again, you don't have to go all the way down. You can stop about quarter of the way, halfway, whatever feels good. Once you get to the bottom, take a moment to pause. And then we'll press into the heels and just as slowly start to peel up 1 inch at a time. Let your head be the last to lift. And then just continue here at your own pace. Tuck the chin in towards the chest, round the neck first, round the spine. Let your weights and gravity start to pull you to the floor one piece at a time. Again, you don't have to go all the way down. Just stop wherever it feels comfortable. You don't want to feel any pain or pinching in your spine. Press into the heels. Use your legs to slowly peel up 1 inch at a time. Let the head be the last to lift. Great. Let's do one more going down. Tuck the chin. Round the spine, piece by piece, trying to articulate and move slow, controlled, and mindful through the body. Once you get to the bottom, take a moment to pause, bend your knees, take the weights off to the side. If you have blocks, grab them. You're going to step your right foot back. We're going to come onto the right knee. So you're coming into a low lunge here. You're going to squeeze your right glute as you sink your hips forward, and then start to send your hips back. Dig down into the front heel, pull the thigh back, really getting that stretch and strength through the left hamstring, and then start to bend your knee and peel forward. So just making this more dynamic by moving forward and back. So just going in and out of the hips here. If you want to connect breath and movement, feel free to connect breath and movement. Just going at a pace that feels good in your body. And then the next time the left knee bends, we're going to take the blocks off to the side. Plant your palms. Let's press to downward facing dog. So your first downward facing dog, maybe pedal out through the legs, bend one knee at a time. Any moves that feel good. From down dog, let's start to pull forward into a high plank. Pause here, actively push into the floor, and then press back downward facing dog. Let's do that twice more. Pull the body forward, high plank. Pause here. Press back, downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank. Knees up or down. Let's lower onto the belly. We're going to come into some baby cobras. So just extend the legs, press your pelvis into the floor. I'm going to take my arms into goalpost, but if there's another position that you would prefer, feel free to take that. Start with your forehead onto the floor. Tuck the chin in towards the chest and start to push your sternum forward in order to lift into that baby back bend. And then slowly lower. And we'll do this at our own pace for a few more reps. So we want to think of extending through that upper spine, using the muscles that line up along the upper spine. Keep pressing your pelvis into the floor. And then let's release, plant the palms, press to all fours, and we're going to take some cat and cow. When you're ready, start to round your spine, tuck the chin, squeeze the belly, and then start to extend Sternum, tailbone lifts. Maybe you look up to the ceiling. And then start to round the spine. So just moving in and out, a flexion, an extension of the spine. Still warming things up. And then let's find a neutral spine, some lateral flexion. We're going to take the left shoulder to the left hip, look over the shoulder, squeeze the left side of the waist, come back to center, and switch sides. So as one side is contracting, the other side is expanding. And see if you can use the side waist muscles to pull you from one side to the other side. And then find your neutral spine. We'll take the hands forward, tuck the toes under, press into downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg up, bend the right knee, open your hip, but think about driving your right heel to your right glute. So not your left glute, your right glute. What I want you to focus on is really activating the back of that right hamstring. Trying to bend the right knee as much as you can. And then we'll step right foot forward, come onto the left knee. Feel free to grab blocks. Squeeze your left glute as you come forward into the lunge. And then send your hips back, straightening through the right leg. And again, just going forward and back. You don't have to sit all the way back, and you don't have to go all the way forward. So whatever range of motion is working for you in your practice today, stay with that. Couple more here. Again, every time you come forward, just give your left glute a little squeeze just to encourage a little bit of extension through the front of that left hip flexor. And then we'll bend the right knee, step forward and fold. Grab onto your heavy weights if you have them, or whatever weights you have, or soup cans. Coming into that forward fold with your weights, press into your heels, slowly start to peel up one piece at a time, coming all the way up to stand. Let the weights pull the shoulders down, press into the balls of your feet, squeeze and lift your heels. Lower with control. So we're coming back into our calf raises. Second time through. We're going to go through a similar sequence with a little bit of added variation here. Really squeeze your glutes, your calves, your hamstrings. And see if you can hold at the top for like a second or two and control the movement on the way down. Lower the heels, tuck the chin, round the spine. Let the weights pull you to the floor piece by piece. Take your time. Weights off to the side. Feel free to grab your blocks. Left leg is going back. And this time you have the option to keep your left knee lifted as you come into the lunge. Squeeze your left glute. Send your hips back. Dig down through the right heel, pull the thigh back, and then bend the right knee, squeeze through the left glute. So we're doing that same dynamic lunge. This time we're adding more load and resistance by lifting the back leg. So know that you can always drop the back knee down if you have to. Great. Bend your right knee, blocks off to the side. We'll press to downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank. Pause here, actively push into the floor, and then downward facing dog. Two more just like that. Pull forward, plank pose. Press back, downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank. Knees up or down. Let's take it all the way to the belly. cobra lifts. Press your pelvis into the floor. Any arm variation that works for you. Tuck the chin and press your sternum forward. Baby extension. Lower with control. Just going here at your own pace. Squeezing your glutes. Let the muscles that line up along your upper spine do the work here rather than the arms. And then let's slide the hands back, press to all fours. So take your all fours position and you're going to walk your hands a little bit further forward. So you're in like a modified plank position. So we're going to do a little bit of single arm back strength with a little bit of core stability. At any point, you can shorten by coming back into that tabletop position. So the further the hands are from the knees, the more challenging it's going to be. So we're going to keep our right hand down, so we're in that kind of modified plank position. You're going to grab one of your weights into your left hand. So we're going to do a single arm row, but the objective here is to try not to move your hips and your shoulders, just the left arm. So you're going to push your right hand into the floor. You're going to keep your ribs into the body. You're going to try to breathe three-dimensionally into your core, and you're going to pull with the left arm. Keep the elbow in nice and tight. Lower. Row. Keep going. Keep pressing your right hand into the floor. You're not going to feel completely balanced here because you're not completely balanced. One arm is moving and one arm is pressing. But you should feel your core, your trunk, your midsection kind of quiver here to keep you stabilized. Let's do 3 more on this side. Okay, and then release and we'll switch. Shake with the hands if you need to, otherwise let's get right into the right hand. So again, you can be in that modified plank position or tabletop. Press your left arm into the floor. Let's row it up with the right. Squeeze your right shoulder blade and lower. Whew, I'm starting to build heat right in the center of my body. I can really feel that core activation. Try not to flare the ribs. Let's go 3, 2, and 1 more. Okay, release. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, bend the left knee, open your hip, squeeze your left glute, squeeze the back of your left hamstring, left heel to left glute. So like there's a tennis ball behind your kneecap and you're trying not to drop the ball. And then let's step. Left foot forward, grab your blocks if you need them. Last time here with our dynamic lunge sequence, squeeze your right glute as you come forward into the lunge, and then send the hips back. Bend the knees, squeeze the right glute, send the hips back. Couple more here. Great. Bend your left knee, step forward and fold. Grab your weights, heavier if you have them. Press into the heels. Slowly start to peel up one piece at a time. Let your head be the last to lift. Coming all the way up to stand. Keep your weights. Feet about hips distance apart. We're going to do the opposite of rounding the spine. You're going to keep your weights in your hands. Let the shoulders pull you down. Soft bend at the knees. Hinging forward through your hips, halfway into a bit of a hip hinge. Press into your heels, use your glutes, your hamstrings to pull you up. Squeeze your bum at the top. And again, soft bend into the knees, pelvis tilts forward, hinge about halfway, press yourself up. Squeeze your bum at the top. So getting a nice stretch, but also activation at the same time in the hamstrings. So strengthening through that range of motion. If you want to get a little bit more action through the hamstrings, as you hinge halfway, think about pulling your heels and thigh bones behind you without moving the feet. So we call that an isometric contraction, a static contraction. Hinge halfway, hold, and then let's fold over the thighs. We'll press to downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank, pause, press back, downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank, pause, press back, downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank, pause, knees up or down, lower onto the belly. So we're going to do a little bit of upper back strength. If you don't have weights, or if it's too much with weights, you're going to make fists out in front of you, okay? So again, we can simulate the strength and the tension by just squeezing our fists. If you're going to grab weights, you're going to come with me. You're going to grab weights, light weights, press your pelvis into the floor, tuck the chin in towards the chest. You're going to lift your upper body, not a lot. Arms don't have to lift that much. You're going to bend the elbows, pull all the way back into a W. So you should feel kind of your elbows kind of touch your rib cage. Straighten the arms, lower the arms. Okay, we're going to keep doing that. Press your pelvis into the floor. Upper body lifts. Bend the elbows, pull all the way back into that W. Feel the lats, squeeze. Straighten and down. Couple more. Breathe. This is challenging, so if you're using weights and it doesn't feel smooth, let go of the weights and just make fists. Okay, next time the elbows are back, pause. If you have weights, let go of your weights. Place your palms into the floor. Press to all fours or high plank, downward facing dog. When you're ready, let's step or hop to the front of the mat. I'm going to step. Grab your heavier weights. Press into your heels, soft bend into the knees. Lift and lengthen halfway. Pause. Fold over the thighs. Lift and lengthen halfway. Pause. Fold over the thighs. Lift and lengthen halfway. Pause. Press into your heels. Use your glutes to pull you up. Guess what? We're going to do that whole sequence one more time. So feel free to reset up your feet, soft bend into the knees, hinge at your hips, halfway, pause, press into your heels, squeeze your glutes at the top. Tilting the pelvis forward and hip hinging. So, I don't know how it would feel to do from the low back. I prefer the hip hinge, but it just makes more sense this way. Plus, we really get an opportunity to stretch and strengthen the hamstrings at the same time by actively pulling the heels back. Great, couple more. If you're familiar with deadlifting, like if deadlifting is part of your regular routine, this is pretty much deadlifting. The yoga style of deadlifting. Great. Hinge at your hips. Weights off to the side. Downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank. Pause here. Press back, downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank. Downward facing dog. Pull forward, high plank. Lower onto the belly. Weights or no weights. Again, you're making fists if you're going unweighted. Arms out in front of you. Really anchor your pelvis into the floor. Lift the upper body. Bend the elbows. Pull back. Squeeze. Straighten. Lower. Lift. Bend. Straighten. Down. Few more. Squeeze. So just trying to add pulling with all of our push in yoga. One more. Bend the elbows back, pause. If you have weights, let go of the weights. Keep squeezing the shoulders together, tuck the toes under, knees up or down, plank, downward facing dog. Walk or hop to the top of your mat. Fold over your thighs, grab your weights, heavier if you have. Soft bend into the knees, lift and lengthen halfway. Fold forward. Two more. Lift and lengthen halfway. Fold over the thighs. Lift and lengthen halfway. Press into your heels. Use your glutes to pull you up to stand. Okay, so our first cardio interval is now. The time is now. Options. So just make sure you have some space beside your mat. So the way that I do cardio in this class is Tabata style, which is 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, times 8 rounds. 4 minutes altogether. So I'll show you the first move. Option 1, you're just gonna kick yourself in the butt. Kick yourself in the butt. So really activating the hamstrings, getting a little bit of mobility in the knees. If you want to kick up this move, literally, you're going to try to kick yourself in the butt. Kick, kick, kick. So that's going to take place for 20 seconds. We're going to have a 10-second break. And then we're going to go into the lunge mountain climber. So you're going to go high plank. This is option 1. You're going to step to the outside of your front hand. And then you're going to rotate into the twist. Right hand down, right foot back, left foot steps, open into the twist, okay? If you want to kick this one up, big toes touch, right foot forward, I'll show you. Right arm reaches up, right hand down, jump switch the feet, opposite arm, okay? Take the variation that works for you. So if you choose a variation, you can switch it up the next round, okay? I'm gonna set the timer, and we're gonna do this. This is our little energy boost. And just because it's cardio, if you're like not feeling well, slow down. Take a breather, okay? Doesn't matter. You just wanna feel good after this practice. Timer is setting up here. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Go for it. So you're either standing, kicking yourself in the butt, or we're adding the hop. Kick, 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 kick. All right, there's our beat. We have a 10-second rest. We're going into those mountain climbers. You can walk out the lunges or you can hop. I'll show you the walked out version first. So left foot goes to the outer edge of my left hand. I'm going to open into the twist. Step, step, twist. Twisting from your rib cage. Okay, so the rib cage and the core is leading you into the twist. Okay, these go by fast. 10 seconds of rest. We're going back into our butt kickers. Go for it. You can hold on to weights here if you want. I'm pretty content without weights right now. We have more strength to do after this. And we'll get a chance to repeat the cardio one more time. Okay? 10 seconds of rest. Going back into the mountain climbers. I'm going to hop it out for fun. Hop, switch. Rotate from your ribs and your core. Use the muscles in your core to rotate. All right. Guys, we're halfway through this already. Breathe, grab water. Butt kickers. Awesome. 10 seconds of rest. Mountain climbers. Lunge mountain climbers are a little different. If you're hopping, press into the floor as you hop. As you switch. Woo, okay. Butt kickers. Second last round in this circuit. All right, last round here. Press, rotate, hopping, or lightly stepping. All right, take a break. Grab water. We're gonna go into our next strength sequence. So you're gonna grab weights. You can go unweighted here. I'm just gonna grab 110. So you're gonna come into your variation of a squat, and that is very, very, very independent to your body. So for me, I have to go feet a little bit wider. I have to take my heels in and my toes out a little bit more external rotation in the hip. So find the squat that's working for your body. Hold on to your weight and let's do it. Sit back into the heels, eyes look forward, press yourself up, squeeze your glutes at the top. Sit back, press. If you want an extra little activation, as you sit back, Think about trying to pull your feet away from each other, like you're trying to rip the mat in half. About 10 more seconds. Squat, weight off to the side, press to downward facing dog. From here, we're going to come forward to high plank. You're going to grab one weight. You have the option to do this on the knees. So we did this at the beginning of class. We're going to keep the right hand down, single arm row with the left arm, okay? You can do this in tabletop, modified plank, or feet are going to go wide as the mat. Right hand presses into the floor, row with the left. Keep going. Try not to move your hips. Keep pressing your right hand into the floor. Let's go 3 more. Okay, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, bend your knee, open your hip, step your right foot forward, grab 2 weights. Step your left foot in a little bit, just so that you can tuck your pelvis here a little bit. Let's take the weights in front of the shoulders. We're going to do a compound movement, so meaning more than one thing is going to move at one time. So what you're going to do is bend your back knee, hover or tap the mat, straighten the arms overhead, bend the elbows, straighten the legs. Tuck the pelvis, squeeze your left glute. Arms up, back knee bends, straighten the legs, bend the elbows. Keep going. Keep the weights a little bit ahead of your shoulders. You don't want to feel pinching. And it's a shorter lunge. So by stepping the back foot in, we can access the pelvis by tucking it and just getting more of a stretch through the front of the hip flexor and quad. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wowzers. Okay, downward facing dog. We're coming back into that single arm row from plank. Let's come onto the knees first. Set it up. Weight in the right hand. Press your left hand, arm into the floor. Knees up or down. Feet back. And this is option. You don't have to keep the knees up. Push the left arm into the floor. Row it out through the right. Right shoulder down away from the ear as you squeeze back. Keep pushing into the floor. Try not to move your hips. Three more. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Bend your knee, curl the hamstring. Step left foot forward. Grab your weights. Step the right foot in. Shorten your lunge. Make sure you can move your pelvis forward and back. Weights in front of the shoulders. Scissor, left hip back, right hip forward. Lower the back knee. Arms go up. Hover or tap the back knee, straighten the legs. Keep going. Try to resist the urge to flare through your rib cage. So keep the ribs pulled in. Let's go for 3 more. Okay, release, downward facing dog. We're gonna hang out here. Whew. Pedal out through the legs. If you need child's pose, take it, please. Take a break, collect your breath. When you're ready, we'll come to the middle or the top of the mat. Grab your weight, your heavier weight or no weight, whatever you're using. Squat. Set up your best foot position for you. Sit back, press up. If you want to get that extra isometric activation through the outer hips, thighs, and glutes, think about ripping your mat in half as you sit low into the squat. Let's go 10 more seconds. And release. Okay. Great job. Grab water. I have a couple standing balancing sequence, weighted. I'm going to use my light weights. So I'm grabbing my 3s. My shoulders are feeling a little tired, so I'm going to decrease the amount of load I'm using. Let's step the right or the left foot forward. You're going to pick up your opposite leg, cross it over for eagle legs. Now really actively push your thighs together, okay? Keep that squeeze. Take your arms into that W. We did this on our belly. Straighten, bend, all the way down. Squeeze, arms go in, squeeze. Straighten, bend. Again, you can simulate this by just making fists with your hands. Try not to flare the ribs. Go a little bit slower on the pull down. Remember which leg is on top. Sit a little lower. Bend the elbows. Squeeze under the armpits. Sit a little lower. Press the thighs together. And then release. Okay, let's take a break from that. Heels in, toes out, feet wide. So we're going to do a little bit of a squat, a wider squat with a little bit of back work. So from here, you're going to bend the knees and then you're going to straighten the arms at the same time. Straighten the legs, press up to stand, squeeze. Sit, press. Sit, press. Keep going. Let's go for 3 more. Keep pulling your ribs in. Hold at the bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, press up. Okay. Whew. Back to the eagle legs. Opposite leg on top. Cross the legs. Sit. Squeeze your thighs together. W arms. Press. Bend and squeeze. Press. Oh, my shoulders are feeling this. I'm glad I did lighter weights. 3 more. Sit a little lower. And then release. Okay, shake it out. Wide squat. Arms straight, legs straight. Sit, lift the arms. Keep the arms straight, elbows nice and straight. Press, squeeze your bum at the top, sit. Again, try not to flare the rib cage. Pull those low ribs in. Two more. Hold on this last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, holy moly. We're done with our weights, guys, unless you want to use them in the cardio sequence. But we do have one last cardio interval. Same 2 exercises. Modify, take the variation that works the best for you, especially after everything that we've done, okay? Grab a breather, or grab a drink, breathe. So we're gonna start with butt kickers. Again, you can hop it out, you can just kick the heel to the butt. In 3, 2, 1. And you can slow down, like you can slow down your pace in cardio. You don't have to go all or nothing. I often just go at a pace that I can manage through my breathing so that I don't feel gassed. Okay. Mountain climbers are lunge climbers. Jump switch. Rotate from your rib cage. Push the bottom arm into the floor. This is our home stretch here. Okay. Back to butt kickers. Kick, 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 kick. Okay. Lunge mountain climbers, next beat. All right, guys, we're halfway through this one. We're gonna cool it down after this, and then you'll be on your way. All right. Keep breathing. Two more rounds. Skip around if you want to. Do what feels good in your body. This is our last set of butt kickers. Last set of mountain climbers. Woohoo! Go. All right, we did it. Okay, great job, guys. Have a seat. We're gonna come right down to have a seat. All right, so let's just take the feet, nice wide diamond shape, like you would for butterfly pose, but wider, more relaxed. And then just kind of wiggle your thighs. Close your eyes. Lightly move your legs and just allow this tiny bounce in your thighs to start to calm down your nervous system. So it is especially important after these really active practices that we allow our nervous system to come back down. So close your eyes. Connect to your breath in and out of your nose. And just start to feel sensation in your body. Perhaps you feel energized. Hopefully you feel awake, energized, but not completely exhausted. And then let's come to a cross-legged seated position. Take your right hand onto your left knee thigh. It's a diagonal twist here. You're gonna reach the left arm behind you on a diagonal, and you're gonna reach the left arm over to the right knee. So it's a diagonal stretch. We're getting into the QL part of the back. That's really hard to stretch. And then lift. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. If it feels good, keep doing it. Making it more dynamic here by going in and out of the stretch. The next time the arm is overhead, we're going to pause, and I want you to, if it feels okay, close your eyes and breathe into the left side of the body. Breathing into the waist, the rib cage. Using the breath to stretch the left side of the waist. And then we're going to lift ourselves out, and we're going to switch. Left hand onto right knee, right arm behind. Lift on the diagonal and reach. Feels so good. And let's make it more dynamic by moving in and out. You can look over your shoulders, so getting some rotation through the cervical spine and the neck. Moving that as well, if that feels good for you. And then the next time the arm is up and overhead, let's pause and breathe into the right side of the body. Breathe into the rib cage, the back. Using the diaphragm to stretch through the side waist. And then come back to center. If you feel like you need more stretching, take as much time as you like. Stretching after an active practice like this is really helpful for the nervous system. If you have time for full relaxation, maybe lying down in a quiet space for 5 to 10 minutes just to relax your body, come into your breath. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I am going to